In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the brake rotors on your machine. Today we'll be installing a set of the Tusk Typhoon Brake Rotors. These brake rotors are an excellent choice for a replacement rotor, whether you're replacing a bent, warped, or worn out brake rotor, or maybe you're just looking to upgrade your current rotors to something with better cooling and performance. The Tusk Typhoon brake rotors are made from tempered stainless steel for longevity and performance, and can be used with any type of brake pad. The rotor's design helps to not only save weight, but also helps to cool the rotor for more consistent braking performance. So to replace these rotors, we'll start by first putting on a pair of safety glasses, and then we'll go ahead and remove that front wheel. With that off the bike, we'll go ahead and loosen and remove each of those front rotor bolts. Once you have all of them out, you can remove that rotor from the hub. Some bikes, such as this KTM 300 XCW, have a magnet in the front rotor for the speed sensor. Our new Tusk rotor has a mounting hole for this magnet, so we'll go ahead and remove it from the stock rotor and then install it onto the new rotor. Make sure you install it facing the same way it was removed from the other rotor. Go ahead and seat that clip into place, and now it's ready to be installed. Instead of using the old rotor bolts, we're going to be installing one of the Tusk rotor bolt kits, which comes with all the bolts needed to install both the front and the rear rotors. So we'll go ahead and apply a little non-permanent or medium strength thread locker to each of those front bolts. Then we can install that new rotor onto the hub and install a new bolt into each of those holes. It's important that the hub surface is clean before you install the new rotor. You'll also notice that we have the markings on the rotor facing up or out. These rotors are directional, so you want to make sure you have it facing the correct way. Next, we're going to want to snug these bolts down in a diagonal or cross pattern to prevent any warping or binding. And then do the same thing when we tighten them down the rest of the way. You'll need to refer to your service manual for proper torque specifications, which will be specific to your bike. And now that the rotor's installed, we need to clean it off with some brake cleaner to remove any oil or particles that were possibly left on from manufacturing. Doing this will ensure we have full brake performance and that we get as much life out of our brakes as we can. Make sure you clean both sides, and now this wheel is ready to be reinstalled onto the bike. It's always a good idea to replace your brake pads when installing a new rotor, because your old worn out brake pads will be worn down into the shape of the old rotor, and if you use these with your new rotor, you won't get full contact from the pads and your brake performance will suffer. So installing new pads is highly recommended. So now we'll install this front wheel back onto the bike, and then move back and remove the rear tire. And we're just going to do the same thing. Go ahead and remove those stock rotor bolts. And then you can pull that stock rotor. And after that, we'll apply a little medium strength thread locker to each of those new rotor bolts. Then we can sit that new rotor onto our clean hub and thread in one of those new rotor bolts into each of those 6 holes. And again, we're going to use that same cross pattern to tighten these new rotor bolts down. The last thing we need to do is clean both sides of this rotor, same way we did on the front one. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and install that rear wheel back onto the bike, and then you're ready to ride. If you have any questions about the Tusk Typhoon rotors, or about replacing the rotors on your machine, feel free to give us a call at 1-800-336-5437. Rocky Mountain ATV MC carries all the brake parts and accessories for your machine. Make sure you have enough whoa for all that go. Thanks for watching.